You're watching The Bo Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Oglaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, The Ryder Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Bo Frye Show. I'm your host, Joe Hurlburt, alongside head coach Bo Frye. Week number 3 of the high school football season. Of course, the Riders come away with a big win last week over their rival from across the lake, Celina, 35-6. But, Coach, again, a big win. Always a big win when you can win one over your arch rival.
Oh, 100%. Thanks.
Well, let's take a look at some of the scores around the Western Buckeye League last week, in case you missed it. Bath defeated Van Wert 43-37. Walpock defeated this week's opponent, the Defiance Bulldogs, 41-9. Shawnee continues to remain undefeated. Overall, they beat Elida 21-14. OG defeated Kenton 34-18. And the St. Mary's Rough Riders, as I mentioned, defeated Celina 35-6. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights from last Friday night's game. But, Coach, your overall assessment of last week's play?
I thought our kids played extremely hard. I think it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a lot different, sitting a little bit different than we were a year ago at this time.
Yeah, we made it our goal in the program to never go back to that.
Absolutely. So, of course, the Riders, as I mentioned, we'll take a look at some of the clips right now. First of all, let's take a look at the offensive side of the football. The offense continues to play well. The offensive line continues to get better each and every week. Here we are inside the 10, and just good line play here.
This is a surge up front. You're seeing some big bodies. We're bringing in a heavy look with some bigger bodies. We've got big kids.
You know, what has astounded me, and I mentioned it during the broadcast last Friday night, is that you look at all the rushing plays we had, and as of now, to date, we've only put the ball in the air twice.
Yeah.
So that just really goes to show how dominant the offense has been as far as controlling the football. We had a couple of great drives last week that we maintained possession of the football, chewed up a lot of clock, but the end result, 6 points on the scoreboard. But that's critical.
Yeah, I think whenever you're playing well up front, I don't think anybody's going to move to option B if option A is working. So
I agree.
Just where we're at. It's not because we can't. You'd be shocked how many passes we throw in practice.
That's a nice run by Colton Mabry. Just offensive line surge, just pushing the Celina defense back inside the 5-yard line. So good ball control there. And then from there, Colton Mabry, you let him get it there, you let him put it in the end zone. So
they all look pretty familiar, don't they?
Absolutely.
It's the same play.
Colton had a good night. Again, rushed for over 100 yards. He and both Dominic Osborne. Colton, 24 carries, 101 yards, averaged 4.2 yards per carry. Dominic, 22 carries, 117 yards, 5.3 yards per carry. So the Rough Riders moving the football on the ground, obviously. 322 yards on 66 rushing attempts. Not too bad.
Yeah, those guys are veteran football players.
Well, there's that crazy play that we saw both people move in the backfield. We'll talk to Bill Crew on rules of the game in reference to that, so tune into that program. We'll have a total explanation on that one.
It just looked like a solid 10-yard gain to me.
Yeah. That's what I saw.
Yeah. This is 4th and, I think, 2 here before half.
That's
kind of broke the game open.
Yep.
Dom just scored it through. Heck of a call by my brother.
Here the Rough Riders get the corner.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a mid mid-thigh tackle. Is that probably what he had?
That was a little scary for a second there. Luckily the kids were walking around with tree trunks as legs. He's a big physical kid. That was scary for a minute though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's a contribution to his weight room work and just the commitment to the entire offseason program. This is a fullback dive again.
I think you also had to be pleased of your average yardage where you started the football. You started on an average each drive on your own 44-yard line.
When all three work together, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get a short field, you can take advantage and do some things. And
There's Schmitty getting loose. Yeah. That was just a quarterback sneak blocking up front. Straight quarterback sneak. Yeah. They would give it to the fullback, and sometimes the fullback can kind of just pop out of there. See this guy's run by it.
Caleb had 12 carries, 78 yards. This is his longest one of 40 yards, 1 touchdown, average 6.5 yards per carry. And
this has felt good for Kessler to get in the end zone here. He was kind of dealing with some stuff this week, but he's feeling good now.
Good.
He had a good week. I'm proud of him for fighting through and getting the job done.
I think a lot of people don't understand, the fans that watch it, they come here on Friday night, but you got to keep in mind, these kids are kids.
Oh, yeah.
They deal with issues, and they have their own set of problems off the field as well, and it's probably your job as a head coach to get them refocused for tonight. I think they do a pretty good job of that.
Well, they're a senior dominant team, first off, and they're a great group of kids. I've been using the word love. I know it's a strong word, but they're a good group of kids, man, and there's a lot of love in that locker room for each other and for the coaches and for everyone involved. Heck of a run by Mabry at the end of the game here, man. That kid's good. You know what I mean? He's better than I ever was. As long as he keeps going forward, the sky's the limit for him and Dom.
Yeah. Not only that, but from my understanding, they're both exceptional students in the classroom.
Yeah, they do very well in the classroom. Colton, I said, I think he's on college credit plus. He's probably going to get out of high school and have half his college done.
Really?
Yeah, he's a super smart kid, way smarter than I ever was. Still smarter than me, but just a great kids, man. It was a good run by Schmitty at the end. We were just wearing them, man.
Yeah.
By this point, they said no mas, no more, and feels good when you can do that.
So I believe this is toward the end of the game. You get some new kids in the ball game.
Yeah, Davion. Davion would be a stepbrother to Dixon, and he's a heck of a JV guy for us. Davion, you'll see here in the future.
Yeah, I guess you mentioned the JVs. They also won. By the same score.
Same exact score, 35-6. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is Fink. You're gonna hear his name a lot too. Little Finky, man. He can scoot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we got some good speed in the backfield as well.
Mm-hmm.
On the defensive side of the football, the Rough Rider defense limited Celina to just 8 first downs, 163 yards of total offense, 122 on the ground. They recovered a fumble, and I think the defense, they stepped it up.
Yeah, I mean, no one would comment about the defense as they were playing fast.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that speed and that aggressiveness for a couple of years, and they're coming together. They're, like I said, we're a completely 2-platoon football team with the addition of Trey Moore now at corner. So
there's a big run here.
Yeah, this was not the best. You got to start us, man. You love to just put us on at the beginning here.
Well, that's true, but I wanted to point out the hustle.
Oh, great!
I think
Trey and Beam, those are 2 sophomores.
Yeah.
They're great. I mean, they're a group of kids. They play well together.
Yeah,
and look at them. They even got big guys in the back sprinting full speed.
Yeah.
A lot of other schools, man, those guys are walking. Yeah.
Yeah, they would have ran him down before he got there. Trey Moore was gaining ground on him quickly.
Yeah, he would have got him. So. This is just good
football.
Pressure. Yep. That's Turner coming on the backside. You've seen that for 2 years now, and that kid plays with a motor and it never stops.
Yep.
There's a lot of different types of bodies on our defensive line. You may not notice them all, but we're bringing bodies in all the time, different bodies up there, and a lot of guys are just playing hard. if you'll play hard in our program, we'll find a way to play you all the time. I think that's Turner again.
Yeah.
He's just an emotional, tough kid, man.
Yeah, their leading rusher was John Lutz. He had just 6 carries, 61 yards. So
yeah, not
and
big
his,
one.
And his
broke off.
longest one was 13 yards. So that's commendable.
Yeah, they're playing hard. Like I said, this is just good football, man. Bourne's coming off blocks and making tackles.
Support.
Yeah,
that's absolutely good support there on the corners.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that has to be impressive is that to this point, they're not making a lot of mistakes. They're not penalized a whole bunch.
That's the hope, and that's the goal. And it's just veteran, smart kids that do their job. And I mean, you walk out to practice, you're not gonna. There's no Division I kids floating around. Yeah. It's just they're just playing hard, and they're doing things that they're asked to do and coached to do.
Yeah.
So.
I think this is just like a WWE body slam.
It's Compton.
Taylor Compton.
Taylor Compton. He always shows up. Compton. He's still a sophomore, but plays hard and makes plays, and that's all that matters in the end. So. Good job inside again by Compton. Somebody in the legs there. Might have been Matt Murray. I'm not 100% sure who it all was, but that's just team tackling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right now you see Celina has the ball inside the red zone, and all of a sudden the defense rises up.
Yeah. There might have been Dixon there on the edge. I'm not 100% sure who that was, but just a kid scraping off the edge and making a heck of a play. It's Danmeyer. This is cast now. I saw the cast.
And again, and the bottom line is that you got people going to the football. They're flying to the football.
That's it. As long as you get to the ball, great things are going to happen on defense. I mean, isn't that the goal? To tackle the football, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, as long as we get there, the great things will happen. That's a very good job by the defensive line. And then the backers just scraping over top, making things happen. Because of two-platoon football, you can play a lot of different types of defenses because those guys only play one position. Other programs, guys are 6, 7, 8 guys playing both ways. Right. I don't know how you could ever be more diverse on both sides of the ball playing all those guys mentally. It's a good job by Compton again, I believe, filling. That's just a heck of a fill, man. That's textbook. It's getting later in the game now, It's like a shark when it feels blood in the water, you know. He's just going to keep coming at you.
And I think you can see the pressure being applied by your defense there and force the pass.
Yep.
And, again, I think because Celina, played so many people both ways in the heat, I think it just absolutely the off-season work in the weight room, putting big bodies on their people, kind of wore them down over a period of time.
Yeah, I mean, we're aware of what we have here. We have people. Kids want to play football here. And we're going to find a way to use all of them. So it's a heck of a job by Blair coming off the edge. He missed one the play before that, and the next one he comes off the edge and finishes it off. I think this is darn near the very end of the game. They're in desperation mode, but this guy's in the right position, getting lined up correctly, and just great things. And Danmeyer just filling.
Yep.
Danmeyer's a big body, one of the bigger linebackers we've had in a while. So playing good football.
And, of course, you mentioned earlier in the program that it takes all 3
phases of the game
to make this one happen. And here's a nice kickoff return. Of course, as I said, your average start offensively was the 44-yard line.
Yeah. Whenever you start across the 50, we're in 4-down territory.
Exactly.
Yeah, with what we do. And special teams they're the backbone. We put a lot of time. I love special teams in a two-platoon program because that's when us as coaches can come together. You know what I mean? Because we're separate for 90% of the practice, but we come together to coach special teams. And I got guys throwing things out from left field like, let's try this, let's try that, And I'm just like, heck, let's do it, So there's always a new little wrinkle we got.
Here's some kickoff coverage here. I think that's the fumble right there. I think Luke Bournes hit the pop, and I think Parker Beam recovered.
Parker Beam did recover.
Yeah, I think I missed.
The only bad part about this is I lost my gum in the process here, and I had to go back and get it. I tried to put it back in my mouth, and it had all those little pebbles in it. You know, I was like, oh, I got to find some new gum now. So
This is a good job. Luke Bourne's coming off the corner.
yeah, that's I won't give all the secrets to that, but that's Coach Yale scouting. There's some scouting involved in that one. And we put a lot of time into this in all three phases of the game. So, yeah.
And Triplett's kicking the ball better.
He is. I told you, man.
Yeah,
Give him time, man. Give him time. You're all like,
I did not believe you. I knew he was going to get better.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's good.
Get the bugs out. Let the jitters out.
It's a good job here blowing it up. This is the first play of the third quarter. And last week I didn't think we came out in the third quarter and played very well. So that kind of set the tone.
Extra point by Triplett.
Yeah, Brady's got some skills, man. Yeah. Skills that you could possibly take him somewhere one day. If he's only a junior, so and this is the first time he's ever started kicking a football about 6 months ago.
Really?
So yeah, I think you only consistently see him get better.
You know, as a coach, and you went into the locker room with a pretty hefty lead.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is it, or maybe not as much with Celina, but how difficult is it to keep your kids motivated to come out into the second half and continue to take control of the football game?
Well, as coaches, we don't ever slow down. There's always something we're trying to push you to do. We're chasing. We talk about a lot is chasing excellence. You know what I mean? We're not chasing a scoreboard. We're not chasing this and that. We're trying to chase perfection and excellence. I mean, we'll be perfect every time, no. But if you're trying to chase excellence, man, great things happen.
Yep. I think this is another good job by the kickoff team on coverage.
Yeah. It's just great guys getting downfield. They're just getting downfield with it's Blair again, missing it. But Blair, I heard his name earlier coming off the edge. It's the same kid.
Slowed him up enough for the rest of them to
That's all that matters, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I told you guys were going to see Trey Moore at some point here. Here he is. He's back alive. This is my guy, Trey. And you're continuously going to see Trey for the rest of the season. Trey is gifted. Trey was just trying to find a home. But look at this cat.
Doesn't like that way. Let's go this way.
Trey is also still only a sophomore. And at some point, on ice skates there, but Trey's gifted. We got to stay off backs, and we can't have penalties on special teams.
Yeah.
But Trey's Trey.
That was a nice return by Trey Moore. It's good to see him being utilized because we saw him last year.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got a lot of speed.
Yeah.
Not a lot of size.
Yeah.
But he can get lost in a big pile.
He's tough though.
Yes,
he's a tough little guy, and he loves football.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a look at St. Mary's win last week over the Celina Bulldogs. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at this week's opponent, the Defiance Bulldogs. Of course, Rider Nation Station will be there to bring you all the action on Friday night. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Bo Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Oglaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, The Rider Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Welcome back to the Bo Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlburt alongside Bo Frye. And, of course, this week the Riders are on the road for the first time in the 2024 season. They'll travel up to Defiance. Not a lot of people like to travel there. It's always, it's about an hour drive by car. I don't know how long it is by bus. But nonetheless, You'll take on the Defiance Bulldogs. We'll talk about them in just a little bit about what you know about them offensively and defensively. But this week around the Western Buckeye League, Bath is on the road. They'll take on Shawnee. Wapak will host OG. Elida will be at Kenton. Van Wert will be at Celina. And, of course, let's talk a little bit about St. Mary's on the road to Defiance. Last week, Defiance got beat by Wapak 41-19. And I think the big bugaboo last week against Wapak is that Defiance turned the ball over. And I think that's probably, in your scouting report, that they are susceptible to turnovers. And one of those ended up being a pick six. So, I'm sure you'll have your defensive ready. So when your defense lines up, what do you expect to see from Defiance?
Well, first off, Zipful, their quarterback, is, if not the best, one of the best quarterbacks in the WBL. They returned everybody darn near from last year. They're just kind of where we were at last year. Things just can't go right for them yet, but they're talented. I mean, there's no one in this locker room thinking that Defiance is not talented. I think it kind of snowballed on them last week. They dropped their opener to a huge rival in Napoleon's, kind of Celina St. Mary's type matchup, and they lost by 1, and their quarterback didn't play in that one. So they're trying to deal with some things, but they're gifted. We saw them come down here and give us our worst loss ever in our home field, our new field. So, but yeah, we're gonna have to get on that bus ready to go. But back to the bus ride thing, I'm excited for a road trip. Actually, yeah, we went on 2 road trips. Both our scrimmages were on the road this year. And it's kind of a homie, you know what I mean? We have to leave right from school. You have your meal, and then you're on the road. So I'm actually excited to take this show on the road here.
It's kind of like a unity building type thing. You know, you're all together. You know, like you said, you eat together. You move forward. You get on the bus. You travel together, and then you get in the locker room when you get ready to snap the pads on and go play some football. But defensively, what do you expect to see? Anything different than what we saw a year ago? They got new personnel?
They're darn near the same kids again. And honestly, last year they came at us and they attacked us. I'm watching the film from last year. First off, we didn't block very well to start with, and they're kind of come at you. So we're going to have to make sure we're getting off the ball. We're doing things right up front. It's going to be a new style because the last 2 weeks have not been. They've been more hands-on type defenses. But this one, they're going to come at us, and we're going to have to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck this Friday on the road at Defiance.
Thanks.
That's going to wrap it up for the Bo Frye Show for this week. I'll be joined by Drew Jacobs in the booth as Zach's still vacationing, so he'll return the following week when we come and take on Wapak here at Grand Lake Health Systems Field. But join us. We'll be on the air roughly around 7:45, 10 till 7 with all the pregame and the play-by-play of the St. Mary's Rough Riders at the Defiance Bulldogs. Until that time, we'll see you then. For Head Coach Bo Frye, I'm Joe Hurlburt. So long, everyone.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.